The octagon door just closed on one of the most anticipated lightweight battles in recent memory. Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje finally settled their differences inside the cage, and the MMA world erupted with reactions.
After 5 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. The judges score the contest 48-47, 49-46, and 49-46 for the winner by unanimous decision. And new interim UFC champion of the world,
It was an absolutely incredible fight, incredible war. I want you to enjoy it, enjoy your victory. Congratulations on the interim championship belt. Look forward to seeing you fight for the title.
I just want to thank the UFC for allowing me to be in this position. This is like my 11th main event.
We go, hell yeah. Oh, it's food.
Obviously delivered in the main event, it's capped off with a war. Just give us your thoughts on Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett delivering a 5-round battle.
Yeah, I mean, what a couple. So Paddy Pimblett at the weigh-ins yesterday says, I'm going to knock this motherfucker out tomorrow. And I was like, that's interesting. And he never abandoned that game plan. Even when, you know, he got dropped a couple times, I kept waiting for him. I'm like, he's eventually going to have to shoot and try to submit him. Now, you know, I didn't know Paddy Pimblett had a chin like that till tonight. And, yeah, absolute dogfight and a war, and much respect to both guys.
We haven't seen Justin yet, so we don't know what his status is physically. But, I mean, is the interim, you know, is the unification fight have to be next? Or is there a case if he's hurt and needs to be out for a while?
Apparently he's 100%. So we sent Paddy Pimblett straight to the hospital, and then we're going to send Gaethje too. And Gaethje's like, believe me, I've been in plenty of wars. I'm good. So as far as we know right now, he's healthy.
Dana, I remember when Paddy first arrived in the UFC, you were saying stuff like, well, his entrance is good and it's all well and good to get the fans, but he needs to be able to fight. Obviously, we've seen him have great wins before, but to show the durability he had in that fight tonight, do you feel like even though he lost, he will be considered one of the best in that division moving forward?
No doubt about it. I mean, he was the favorite tonight. I think that's what fucked him. Every other one, he's the underdog and everybody thinks he's going to lose. Tonight, he's the favorite. I don't think that his game plan was the greatest. Obviously, tonight he showed he is tough, he is durable, and almost impossible. I mean, especially against Gaethje. And you're eating those punches from him. You know, it's one thing to say, listen, I'm going to come out. I know I believe in my durability. I believe in my chin, and I'm going to go toe-to-toe with this guy. But when it starts to not work, at some point you got to say, you know what? It's the 3rd round. I got 2 rounds left. I might want to try to take him down and submit him here.
I really wanted to finish him, but I loved teaching him a lot. He said my face was not going to look the same. after the fight, and his would look the exact same. So as soon as it was over, I was like, well, look at your face, motherfucker. It does not look the same. So for him to, and he's going to learn from this. You cannot have that mentality when you come in there. He needs to accept the worst possible outcome, and that's how you perform the best, when the pressure is the highest. You have to learn these lessons. Again, his mindset going into that fight was not good. It's not how you cannot do that like this. False confidence is terrible. Terrible. It'll kill you every time. And that's what he had. He'll learn.
Looking back at what the professionals said in the lead-up to this massive showdown reveals just how divided the fighting community truly was about this matchup. Eddie Alvarez approached his breakdown from a completely different angle, drawing from personal knowledge of Gaethje's fighting style after handing him his first promotional defeat. Rather than obsessing over inherent talent or technical attributes, Alvarez emphasized preparation quality as potentially determining everything. The former champion explained that Gaethje applied a specific brand of suffocating pressure that training partners simply could not authentically replicate during camp preparation. Alvarez vividly remembered the constant physical collisions, relentless aggression, and complete absence of breathing room that characterized their violent encounter. No amount of sparring could truly prepare someone for that reality until experiencing it firsthand under championship arena lighting. Whichever competitor adapted more rapidly once that opening bell sounded might claim victory, regardless of what transpired during training camps.
That night 8 years ago, what's like the first thing that comes to mind when you think of that fight with Justin?
That I'm glad it's over and I never want to do it again. I'm like, the fans don't ever ask for a rematch or anything like that, because that would have never. I'm like, I'm glad. He's unique, man, and he's one of my favorite guys to watch. So like, but if you want to beat Justin Gaethje, you have to. So he's a forward fighter and a pressure fighter that he will stand in the pocket. And he's gonna throw everything he got in that pocket. If you don't meet him, you'll get chewed up. So Paddy, the way to beat a guy who like does this, very violent, aggressive pressure fighter, you have to meet him. You have to throw when he throws. So you got to be brave, and you have to go when he goes in between his shots. If you do that, you got a fair shot. If you don't do that, if you're not brave and courageous and throw when he throws in between his shots, it's going to be a really long night. It's going to be a hard night for you.
Michael Chandler offered particularly valuable insight given his unique position of having fought both athletes inside the octagon. After Pimblett stopped him in April of the previous year, he readily acknowledged that the Liverpool native possessed more complete skills than his critics recognized. However, when forced to make an actual prediction, Chandler still sided with Gaethje based on superior experience and overall skill level. The former Bellator champion characterized Gaethje as representing an entirely different category of challenge that Pimblett had not previously encountered during his competitive journey.
Gaethje, Paddy, what do you think it looks like?
Oh man, more skilled, more experienced, I think better fighter all around, Justin Gaethje. But I also have been on record and said that Paddy Pimblett is better than a lot of people think he is. Because of his haircut and the way he talks, and when I fought him, he's better than a lot of people give him credit for. He's got long reach, good kicks, pretty darn patient and composed in there, but Gaethje's a whole different animal. So if I had to bet, I'd go Justin Gaethje, interim champion, and then he beats Dustin Poirier later on this year.
Dustin Poirier delivered an assessment that might have caught many observers off guard given the betting landscape. The veteran lightweight pointed toward Gaethje's extensive championship round experience as potentially decisive when fatigue and mental exhaustion became factors. Gaethje had survived countless brutal battles extending into deep championship waters, accumulating knowledge about pacing and survival that could not be replicated through training camp preparation alone. Poirier questioned whether Pimblett could effectively keep distance during striking exchanges or successfully complete takedowns against someone with Gaethje's wrestling pedigree and defensive awareness. This created a problematic dynamic where Pimblett likely got forced into extended striking battles, regardless of his preferred strategy.
I'm leaning towards Justin.
You're one of the few that I've heard say that. Can you tell us why?
I just think he's been in those 25-minute fights. He's been in dog fights before. I think Paddy's going to have a tough time stopping him on the feet, and I don't think Paddy's going to be able to get him down, so he's going to have to fight with him. Unless Paddy can stay super disciplined for 25 minutes, stay at distance, pick his shots. Justin's just a bigger puncher, and he'll put himself in harm's way to land one of those shots. And it's tough to stay away from it for 25 minutes.
Do you think that the UFC wants Paddy to win?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably, because Justin's talking about retirement, and Paddy's still young, and They can continue to build him. There's a bunch of fights we haven't seen with Paddy. So it's more marketable if Paddy wins.
And so how do you see it playing out?
I think Justin stops him.
Wow, okay.
Alexander Volkanovski saw this matchup from an entirely different perspective as the event rapidly approached. The former featherweight champion expected Pimblett to emerge victorious and claim interim championship gold. His reasoning centered on what he had consistently observed from Pimblett when facing significant challenges throughout his promotional tenure, multiple times when critics expressed serious doubts before major tests. The Liverpool fighter responded by executing his strategy flawlessly and silencing skeptics. Volkanovski specifically highlighted Pimblett's most recent performance against Chandler as evidence of his ability to stick to predetermined game plans under immense pressure. That particular skill would prove absolutely essential against someone as dangerous and unpredictable as Gaethje.
That's going to be a fun fight. I'm going to go with Paddy, you know what I mean? There's been a couple of times where I thought Paddy's had big tests in front of him and he's passed them. And, you know, he showed me in his last fight he can really stick to a game plan. And he's going to need that with a Gaethje. So I'm going to go Paddy.
Tony Ferguson brought a unique perspective, having competed against both athletes during his extensive UFC tenure. Ferguson believed Gaethje's complicated relationship with interim championships and repeatedly unfulfilled title aspirations could create mental baggage affecting performance under pressure. Meanwhile, Pimblett's hunger to capture his first major belt might generate the type of desperate energy that elevated fighters beyond their typical capabilities. Ferguson saw vulnerabilities in both competitors based on personal experience, but leaned slightly towards supporting the hungrier challenger chasing fresh opportunity with everything on the line.
Paddy's not bad, dude. Paddy's not bad. He's very beatable, and Gaethje's very beatable as well. But when it goes into the passion and how upsetting Justin Gaethje has always been about not getting that real title shot, and they just keep dangling it right there again, Paddy's in for a new treat, right? Paddy's the one that's never fought for a belt. He's going in there. He's going to be trying to, get that stuff. He's going to feel a little bit more fresher. He's going to have that little bit of excitedness, in my opinion.
Renato Moicano made perhaps the boldest call by predicting Pimblett's secured submission victory. His logic suggested that unless Gaethje scored an early finish through strikes, grappling exchanges became inevitable as the fight progressed, and Pimblett held overwhelming advantages once combat hit the canvas. Moicano argued that betting markets had completely failed to account for the massive skill gap in submission grappling between these competitors.
Tough matchup, Yeah. I think 5 rounds. This is the common take. Everybody gonna say that, not only me, but if Justin Gaethje doesn't stop him on the beginning, he's going to lose. I think everybody thinks like that. And I think Paddy Pimblett will beat Justin Gaethje. That's what I think.
Colby Covington voiced genuine frustration with how heavily betting markets favored the British challenger. Covington indicated he would have placed substantial money on Gaethje if active fighters were permitted to gamble on bouts. Despite overwhelming public sentiment swinging toward Pimblett, Covington viewed Gaethje as a battle-tested warrior who would apply pressure unlike anything Pimblett had previously encountered.
If he gets it done, it's because Justin's just so shot. He's been in so many wars, he's been around the company so long, and that knockout to Max Holloway, he just hasn't recovered from. So if he gets to win that, then but this is seems like a smash spot. Like if I was able to bet fighting, which we're not allowed to because the feds got involved because that moron coach James Krause screwed it up for all of us, but this seems like a smash spot on Gaethje because everybody's on and all the public is driving the money line for Paddy Pimblett to be the favorite. But I think Justin's still a tough dog, and he's going to come out there and give his all, and he doesn't want to lose this fight. This could be his last fight if he loses. So, I think he's going to put Paddy to the test, and, Paddy, usually has to control the wrestling aspect, put guys to the ground to get his submission and to get his striking game working. So, I don't know. Justin's shot on one hand. They're trying to give him an easy win on a silver platter to Paddy to build him up. He's got a little bowl cut and a little mouth, and they think he's the next star. So, I don't know. It's a tough fight to judge. How much is left in the tank for Justin versus a guy that's absolute nobody that hasn't actually accomplished anything in the sport yet. We shall see.
Shawn O'Malley broke from several of his peers by firmly backing Pimblett to capture interim championship gold. The bantamweight star envisioned this as an ideal stylistic puzzle for the British grappler to solve. O'Malley predicted Pimblett would identify an opening during the second round and capitalize by locking in a rear naked choke submission. This demonstrated substantial confidence in Pimblett's grappling abilities and his combat instincts for recognizing when opponents became vulnerable during chaotic exchanges. O'Malley believed those submission skills would ultimately prove decisive when everything hung in the balance.
I don't know, dude. I'm kind of leaning towards Paddy. But the way he does get hit with left hooks, he looks so good against Michael Chandler. Paddy's got a lot of ways to win.
He's a scouser.
He's a scouser. Scousers don't get knocked out, you mushroom.
He KO'd Dustin with a head kick too. The fight before the Max Holloway one, which is pretty impressive.
True. So who you got, man?
Probably Paddy, rear naked.
I think. Oh, Paddy RNC.
Going down into detail. Remember, could be.
Yeah. Remember Khabib. Paddy RNC is definitely possible.
What were your reactions to this fight? Do let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe for more MMA content like this.